Hello and welcome to today's podcast. My name is Aidan McCarthy and I'm Head of Regulatory Training here at the network, and I'll be hosting today's podcast. Now, today's podcast is titled How Technology Innovation Can Help Advisors. Now, I'm really delighted to welcome today and to introduce to you Phil Nash, Sales Director at Underwriteme. Welcome, Phil. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks, Aidan. Yeah, pleased to be part of this podcast. Thanks very much for inviting me.
No problem. So today, Phil has kindly agreed to answer some questions and tell us how technology innovation can help advisors. So, okay, Phil, thank you for taking the time today to record the podcast. Firstly, what do you see as the current issues or problems in terms of protection quote and apply process?
It's probably worth splitting this answer into two parts, Aidan, to be honest. So the first part, from an advisor point of view, it's still, writing protection is still a really cumbersome, a really clunky, drawn out process. And just to flesh that out a little bit. So if you're an advisor, you'll know that you need to use multiple systems. So you probably have a back office system. You'll use a quote portal to get your protection quotes. You might use a quality comparison platform. And then you might use extranets as part of the actual apply process. So lots of systems to use. And then combined with that, there'll be things like picking up the phone to insurers to make pre-sales underwriting inquiries. The process itself might be delayed by a medical exam or the need for a doctor's report. And potentially, if you've got a customer with multiple disclosures, you may end up making multiple applications to various insurers. So it's a really drawn out process, if you like. And then secondly, from a customer point of view, if you think about life insurance compared to other products, so GI products such as car insurance or travel insurance, the expectation from a customer's point of view is for a simple, immediate purchase, if you like. It's a very different experience when a customer applies for life insurance. You know, they have to answer in-depth medical questions. There's possibility of a nurse screening or a doctor's report. And of course, the premium itself may well change during a life insurance application, dependent upon life and health disclosures. So in summary, it's still a really clunky, drawn-out process with lots of room for improvement, to be honest.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Phil. And I'm sure we're going to come to that in a second. But moving on then, how important do you think, when you mentioned price there, how important do you think price certainty is to customers, and why is that?
I think it's really important, to be honest. I mean, you know, transparency is key. And if you make this is going to sound a really odd comparison, but if you imagine going into your supermarket, for example, you put lots of goods into your trolley, you wander around the aisles, fill in your basket or your trolley up, then you head to the checkout. If you got to the checkout and then the person there told you that maybe 25% of your items in your basket were wrongly priced and they were more expensive, you probably have the shock of your life. So, you know, you'd be completely surprised. But this price shock, if you like, is what happens when customers purchase protection products, because the price they get quoted at the start is not always the price they end up paying for. You know, anything from family history to BMI to disclosures to hazardous pursuits can have an impact on the price. So I think it's really important for customers, and it's also really difficult for advisors, because they have to manage this scenario and explain to a customer that the price they're quoted at the outset may not be the price that they end up paying in reality, if you like. Of course, our protection platform puts an end to these price shocks. This is why we developed the protection platform in the first place. This is the problem that we were trying to solve. We were trying to bring protection in line with some of the other products and create this price certainty, really, by providing fully underwritten quotes that give clients more certainty that the price they get on the quote will be the price they pay when the policy goes live.
Yeah, so lots and lots of barriers there, I suppose, to the protection going forward for advisors and some for clients. So more generally, how does the current technology assist in removing some of those barriers then, Phil? How does it really assist in doing that?
I think we, as an industry, we've tried really hard to move things forward, but it's been quite slow, if I'm honest. You know, it's not just about the underwritten price. I think quality of products, particularly with consumer duty, comes into play. You know, suitability of product is a really important factor. And then there's things like I mentioned at the start, you know, CRM or back office systems need to integrate, I think, and that's where the process falls down quite often. We've got different people doing different things, but of course, in order for this to be one seamless journey, if you like, from an advisor point of view, excuse me, then there needs to be integrations, and they're just not there. They're just not there at the moment. We are moving forward, but I think there's an awful lot of room for improvement still. And ultimately, advisors in an ideal world would want a single platform where they can go in and they can do everything from getting the quote through to comparing critical illness product, if you like, quality, and then ultimately applying all on one platform. So I think there are integrations that are taking place, with us and other market leaders, if you like, but there's still lots of room for improvement.
Oh, definitely. And technology moves forwards all the time, doesn't it, Phil? And when we're assisting advisors and we're talking about technology. So tell me in a nutshell, what does Underwriteme bring to the table in regard to this subject? How are you advancing, and what are you bringing to the table in regarding technology, Phil?
Yeah, sure. Well, I've touched on a couple of these points already. At the start, when I was talking through some of the barriers, some of the obstacles that advisors face, pre-sales inquiries take up an awful lot of time for any advisor that writes a reasonable amount of protection. So typically advisors tell us that they'll ring 3, 4, 5 insurers in order to find out which one's going to offer the best terms for their customer. We have live links with 8 insurer partners. So if an advisor uses our platform, they don't have to spend a couple of hours or potentially longer ringing around insurers. They're going to have 8 fully underwritten premiums in real time, which is a big time saving. And then at that point, if they want to convert that pre-sales inquiry into a full application, all they need to do is to complete the remaining questions in order to submit and activate the product. So we're trying to take out a lot of the obstacles in terms of time and create efficiencies, I suppose. And that's what we've done by creating the protection platform. There's a number of other benefits as well. So if an advisor wants to write a multi-product solution, what you can do on the protection platform is submit life insurance to one insurer, critical illness with another, and potentially IP to another insurer, all from a single application. So there's no need to go back or no need to go onto an advisor extranet site. You actually submit it directly from the application on the protection platform. We're also now integrated with CI Expert. So I mentioned during our conversation, Aidan, product quality comparison and integrations. We're now working with CI Expert in partnership, which is a big milestone for us. And of course, what that allows an advisor to do is not just to get a fully underwritten price from our platform, but also then to look at product quality and talk to their customer about what's important to them and meet their needs.
Brilliant. So lots of integrations already then, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. So just one more question, if I may, Phil. I know I've asked you quite a few questions there, but just one more, if I may. Is there scope for improvement in terms of the post-application underwriting?
Yeah, there's definitely things we can do. I mean, what we've talked about so far is really the quote and apply process, if you like. We haven't talked about what happens when you submit a case and perhaps it's not a clean case. Is there room for improvement in that aspect? Well, we've instigated one initiative in the last few months, which is we call automated medical assessments. And ultimately, that's about speeding up the medical examination blood test process where there's an MER or a blood test required. And what we've been able to do is to automate that process so that when a nurse uploads that information into the system, that gets then fed through our underwriting engine and a decision is applied seamlessly, saving loads of time in the process. I know from experience that typically when bloods get sent off in the post, which they have done historically, the bloods will spoil, then it needs to get in front of an underwriter. There's a delay from that point of view. So this is really groundbreaking, actually, and it's great from a client point of view, great from an advisor point of view. What we're doing is, again, introducing some more efficiencies into this painful process that I talked about at the start.
Yeah, so brilliant. Thank you, Phil. Lots of good points there. Thanks for taking the time to record the podcast today. I'm sure advisors will find it really, really useful. Is there anything else you just wanted to add before we close the podcast today, Phil?
Just to really re-emphasize that, all of this hopefully shows that we're really trying hard at Underwriteme to simplify the protection writing process, reduce the amount taken on all elements of the apply journey, and make the advisor process a lot less painful, essentially.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much, Phil. Thank you. And finally, thank you to you, our members, for taking the time to listen to our podcast today. Look out for more in the series. We will be covering lots of other subjects in the coming months. So thank you very much to Phil, and thank you very much to you for listening to our podcast today. Thank you.